this game.
As you like, a lot of politicking can be played in this game.
I like interactions between players. I think that's important in games. If during a game you feel like you're doing your own thing and it doesn't matter what the other players are doing, that's not really good. Why are you even sitting there with friends?
It's example, like, I need to control this zone by the end of this round. It's like, okay, well, what do you have to offer me? I won't go on that zone that you want over there.
The best is when you actually have discussions with people and make deals. Like, remember I made a deal with Andrew, and I was like, hey, listen, I need to go here. I don't feel good about, like, taking it from you, but if you can move, I'll do you a favor later. Like, I'll owe you one. And he was cool about it. And I was like, yeah, man, like, he didn't even call in a favor, I don't think.
No, he didn't. But you know what he did? On his very next turn after you did that, he went to an area that you had control of.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll give him this area. That's fine. And he didn't mention it, but he took control of an area you had control of.
Pretty much. It was kind of sneaky, but I kind of like,
That was it was like, you know what? I get it. I asked for something. Cool. You gave it up. Now you're taking something else. That's fine. I got what I wanted.
Josh Lee Kwai kind of talks about this in Command Zone podcast about politicking, where it's like, if we come out with a deal and you stick to that deal, but you find a way to kind of circumvent the deal, I'm all for that. As long as you don't lie to me and go against the deal, you can come up with a different way to interact with me that I might not be happy with, but you didn't break the deal.
And as you're mentioning deals, this kind of actually, this doesn't break into this game specifically. What? This breaks into all games, is that if you take the actions of a player personal and you retaliate directly because of those actions, that's just poor sportsmanship. Because if someone took control of an area or made you lose a unit for whatever reason, and again, this is not just this game, this is just any game player anywhere. If someone did something to you and you lost something because of it, and then now it's your personal on your next turn to go after them, I get it sucks that something you try to do is now backtracked a turn, maybe even 2 turns, but don't take it personal. It's literally a game. You'll be still breathing after it's over.
Yeah, don't let it affect your real life, but here's one thing that I do like. And I didn't explicitly say this the night that we were playing when I made that deal with Andrew. But I was prepared to honor the favor in any games that night. Like, if we were playing then later Dice Throne and he was like, listen, can you do this? I would have actually let him cash that in because I kind of like the idea of all of our games as a continued narrative. The way that you play in this game and how you interact with me and your willingness to make deals kind of tells me the kind of player that you are, and so I'm totally going to use that to factor in how you are in other games and how willing I am to make deals with you in those games. So yeah, like if later in the night Andrew was like, "Oh, can you do this thing?" I've been like, "Yeah, man, you cut me that deal before. Like, this is still part of the game."
As far as we know, you still owe him a favor.
I'm still not driving him to the airport.
But as far as you know, you still.
But yeah, I still owe him a favor. Yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't. Yeah. So you shouldn't be like, listen, if you do this thing, I'm not going to give you a ride home tonight. No, that's messed up, and you're a terrible person. But if you're like, if you do this thing, I'm not going to make deals with you anymore. That's totally good because this is all within the context and the conversation of the game.
All relations should happen game based. Even if even like I was saying about the retaliation, taking it personal, even if the retaliation is in game. If let's say, oh, I removed your unit, okay, I'm now going to put another unit there, and then another unit there.
Yeah. And if you go like bloodthirsty, for
like if you're making it abundantly clear that you are offended and directly going after them, then that means that you kind of maybe need to turn the dial back to 1. And figure out what you really should be doing.
Yeah, it's basically just not good politics in general, because if you retaliate that viciously, 2 tats for a tit, then that's not good because you're never going to be able to repair relations with that person unless they're very forgiving. You've now basically just made a permanent enemy in the context of the game. So it's not even smart, even in that way.
There's a saying, 2 steps forward, 1 step back is still 1 step forward. But when you make it personal and retaliate, that 2 steps forward, 1 step back is 2 steps back.
It's really 2 steps back, 1 step forward.
Yeah, because you're making it abundantly clear what you're trying to do. And then if other people aren't in their head, they're not going to blatantly say, maybe they will, maybe they won't. They may like, okay, well, we know he wants that location or he wants that card or whatever. Then it's like, well, now we're all going to fight for it and make him rage quit so we have a better game or something. Yeah. That's also toxic play because you don't want to make it personal, all of the whole group.
The way I view politics in games is that the entire time, I think you're doing it right if you make decisions and deals and interact with players in ways that even the player that is not getting the good end of the deal, even they can be like, no, I can see why he had to do that. Like, he's being reasonable.
Yeah.
And like, and then they should even know that later on, they might still be able to get something from you and work with you, even though you had some like bad turns in the past. Like, he's not an enemy. He had to do what he had to do.
Right.
But like later on, like if I need to work with him, that's still on the table.
He has something that none of us can deal with.
Still on the table.
So example, let's say a character has, you know, a unit that you can't stop for whatever reason. And it's a free for all, you know? It's like, all right, you and I need to get that unit off the board or none of us are going to win. So if that's a temporary truce, you both agree, get rid of that thing, get rid of the problem, and then it's back to a free-for-all. That's proper politicking.
Yep.
Because you're not making it personal to him, you're making it personal to the unit that's causing the threat.
It's based on the situation.
Exactly.
And when the situation changes, so will the interaction.
So example, like if you say, let's kill him so it's just you and me, that's bad. If you make it so, let's get rid of that player entirely, so it's just us, that's bad.
Let's make it so he has to go home.
Yeah. If you make it, let's get rid of the threat so we can continue playing properly, or more in a fair way, I get that.
Jeff, I love it. That beautifully played. Really
But
good.
we carried on a little too far on that.
Yeah, we talked about politics for half an hour. That could be its own podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But
I might have you on again, sir.
Hey, there we go. That's the plan, to bribe you. Anyway.
Oh, God.
So,
I feel deceived. I need
so again,
to take a shower.
tying up the Black Diamonds real quick.